in the last video, I talked about finding a local agency. You know, Shrine's in the US, so that means finding an agency that has a US presence and then perhaps developers all over the world, or developers strictly in the US. Now I'm going to talk about offshore agencies. And so offshoring projects is an industry that is riddled with failures, and it comes from a combination of factors. And so I want to talk about the pros and cons of it, because it absolutely can be done successfully, but there are a few things you just absolutely have to do. So let's talk about the pros of using an offshore firm. Number one, on the first order cost, it's going to be the cheapest. You know, if you're in the US and developers are making usually between $60,000 and $600,000, as compared to some places in India will bill out at $15 an hour. Obviously, on the first order, there's going to be a cost benefit. And sometimes it's your only option. If you only have $5,000 and you're really committed to an idea, you can't get that done in the US. It's just simply not going to happen for anyone that's being straight up with you. In India or Pakistan or more less developed markets, it can happen. But you just got to be careful of the risks, and then really make sure that they're focused. So a local agency probably understands you and your target market a little bit better because they live there. And so if you're building an app in the US and it's for a US market, a US agency should have a better understanding of the US population just by living in there. It's not magic. And so for an offshore development agency, you got to be very specific with what you require, and you got to make sure that the budget gets spent effectively on development. And so that's a good thing, is that it should be something where all your dollars are going toward development, because an offshore firm probably is not so much a partner with you. So again, make sure they're aligned with you, and really be over-communicative. Explain even the most basics about the assumptions of your audience. Just be very detailed, and don't make any assumptions, and you should be fine on the communication. One thing to watch out for, though, is on the IP protections. Firms overseas are going to be very hard to chase down and seek damages. US actually has a pretty good legal system for handling these things. You can say it's slow or cumbersome, but there is recourse. If you're offshore, good luck trying to chase that down. It just isn't the reality that's going to happen. So again, it's good. It can be very cost-effective development, and your budget can really go towards just the development, but you got to make sure your project is spec'd out really well. And that I would recommend trying out a service like Upwork or Fiverr, someplace where a reputation score can be found, and there's some remediation if there's issues. And lastly, I would say I would almost combine this with another one, previous step I mentioned, which is like, get a friend that you trust. You know, have that person who you know and you trust serve as a technical advisor, and then use an offshore firm. That way they can check for the quality issues, but at the same time, this offshore firm should be able to dedicate themselves to their project, and your friend can serve as sort of an advisor. You can sort of get the best of both worlds. So anyways, hope this helps, and if it did, please like, comment, share, or subscribe.